one.
Welcome everyone back to Prime Time Racing TV here tonight with the Hardline Fast Track Sims Cup Series here at the Richmond Raceway. Joining me tonight in the booth will be Cole Borgstedt, myself, Evan Black, and Corey Silva running the cameras behind the scenes tonight. So Cole, this is the round of 8. I believe this is the finale. What are your thoughts kind of coming into this race?
Well, it's going to be a very fast race. You know, you're going to have a lot of guys, you know, contending. You know, that round of 8, everybody's going to be trying to fight and claw to try to get back up. We'll try to stay up in the playoffs, so that way they don't get kicked out of the playoffs.
Alright, we're not going to have much time for a, I guess, qualifying rundown. We'll just give you a quick top 5 real quick as we are on the back stretch. Chuck Sweeting qualified on pole, Shane Tarrant in 2nd, Nick Massey in 3rd, Joshua Adams in 4th, and Briarwell Pratt in 5th. And I believe they're getting ready to come to the green. And no, they are not, so it is to the green. Okay. It's going to finish out the top 10. Cole Begunia in 6th, who is going to the rear of the field, I believe, for a blinking issue. Tyler Hensley in 7th, Thomas Bressie in 8th, Robert Kinney in 9th, and Simon Thorne starting in the 10th position. Got points here coming into this race pulled up. Nick Massey is leading the points. Cole Begunia is in 2nd. Briarwell Pratt is tied with Cole Begunia for 2nd. And then Thomas Bressie is in 4th. So those will be the top 4 that currently are in position to advance.
Yes, and the lights are off on the pace car. We are going to await it to roll into pit lanes so that way we can get this race underway. And the pace car is in.
And Chuck Sweeting is on the throttle. We are underway here at Richmond Raceway. Chuck Sweeting has cleared Shane Tarrant for the lead, going down into turn number 1. Nick Massey trying to get underneath Tarrant, but he is not there. Coming out turn number 2 down the backstretch. Shane Tarrant looking underneath Sweeting for the lead. Can't quite get there.
Yes, and it's also, you know, Thomas Bressie is also trying to make a pass on Briarwell Pratt right now. And these guys are, you know, this is going to be a very fast start of the race, but I expect lap times and speeds to fall off a little bit.
Yeah, most definitely speeds will fall off. It looks like there's a little contact between Pratt and Adams for the 3rd position, or 4th position, I believe. Now Bressie trying to get by Adams for 5th.
Chuck Sweeting trying to make the outside work, but as of right now, it is to no avail.
Shane Tarrant has cleared for the lead. And now Nick Massey trying to get around Chuck Sweeting for 2nd. Coming out to number 2, Sweeting getting a good run off of the exit of the 2, right to the back bumper of Tarrant, going into turn number 3, trying to make a dive. Can't get under him, right to the back bumper in 3 and 4.
These guys got to be careful with tires, though. Unless there's a caution, the stage is not going to be till lap, I think they said 75 coming to 76.
Yeah, stage is lap 75, but there is no caution for the stage. So they'll just get their points and just keep on racing.
It looks like the 26 of Chuck Sweeting is falling off a little bit from Shane Tarrant at this point right now.
Yeah, Tarrant's got at least, it looks like a good short run car. We'll see if you can keep that up for the long run and see it's already starting to move up to the 2nd groove.
Hey, guess who's back? Guess who's
Corey.
back? Yes. Sorry, a little bit of real life came in there, so thanks to Cole Borgstedt for stepping in and kind of helping up for a little bit. But we are racing here at Richmond lap number 5, and as I'm probably repeating stuff you guys have already said, Chuck Sweeting is in 2nd, trying to get down to Shane Tarrant.
Yeah, Sweeting started on the pole, flipped back to 2nd. Now he's kind of in the clutch of Nick Massey, who's trying to get around him. But these top 3 are all bumper to bumper. Just quick, I didn't touch on this earlier. Thanks to everyone who's watching on iRacing Live as well on YouTube. We are on iRacing Live tonight, so thanks to everyone at iRacing at getting us on there.
Yeah, most certainly a good way to help grow the channel and to showcase the leagues right now. But I'll tell you, Evan, off of turn number 4, Sweeting in the 26 got a heck of a run. He will gain some time getting to the back bumper of the number 38 machine, and maybe he'll have to experiment with this line to find a way by.
Yeah, Sweeting has been getting some pretty good runs off of the corners, especially 2. And it looks like you said, Corey, he's getting 1 out of 4 as well. And once again, just getting that run off 4 down the front stretch, right to the back bumper of Tarrant. But into turn 1, he's really backing up those corners.
You can see the 48 of Massey there trying to run the second groove already. Not sure if that's going to work quite yet. It's a little bit early in the race for that, but he is managing to hold some time, hold his ground doing so. There we go.
Looks like most of the field all single file now.
And tonight's cameras, as we didn't get to do it earlier, tonight's camera is brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmets. If you like the views that you do see tonight, check out him at facebook.com/trackcams and trackcams22.com. But Taryn looks like he is pulling away just by a little bit. Let's focus on some other battles on the racetrack right now. You can see the 12 of Bryla Pratt and the 88 of Joshua Adams. They are nose to tail here in turns number 1 and 2. The 88 seems to be the better of the two drivers right now, but has to find a way by.
Yeah, well, Pratt is getting those runs out of the corner. Adams is driving in just a little bit deeper, so he's getting right to his back bumper through the center, but just off the corner. Well, Pratt is getting those runs.
Yeah, it looks like the 12 has pulled away, so that battle is temporarily over with at the moment. Kind of focus on some other drivers back in the pack here. You have Thomas Bressie, always the top runner in the league, in the 6th position right now. A ways back, you will find Robert Kenny in the number 10 machine, Casey Shue stalking him. And then Cole Bagunia in the 7, always someone up front in these races, back in the 9th position. That's pretty unheard of for him.
Yeah, he qualified in 6th, but he went to the rear of the field, I believe, because he is still having a blinking issue that we have seen him have for the past few weeks. So he went to the rear of the field, but working his way back up to 9th.
And behind him, Simon Thorns in the 57, a new driver in the Hardline Racing Series. He's hanging on to the top 10. We have Kyle Zimmer in the 20 machine in 11th. Another new driver in the league, Glenn Bowen in the 70 in the 12th position. And then rounding out your field right now, Christopher Matthews in the 92, Cody Tabor in the 18, and Tyler Hensley. I don't know if I missed something earlier in the broadcast, Devin, all the way back in 15th.
He started it up in the top 10 in the 7th position. Not quite sure. Looks like he may have started from the pits. And that's why he went, or he's not a lap down yet, but he's fallen back pretty far.
Either he missed a grid on his own prerogative, or he had some kind of bad thoughts about how the start of the race may have went, but it looks like it has gone clean and green so far. Taryn kind of pulling out a little bit of a gap by about half a second. Massey has lost a couple car lengths off the back bumper of Chuck Sweeting as well.
Yeah, Taryn is about a 10th quicker than the field right now, pulling away from Chuck Sweeting. And actually Sweeting, he ran a really good lap last time by and was about 800ths quicker than Taryn.
Yeah, that is something we'll take a look at on the Primetime Battle Tracker. Last time around the circuit, you can see here, backing up what Evan said, almost a 10th faster was Sweeting. We'll see if he can run that consistently and eat himself into that gap.
Looks like right now, at least he's starting to run that consistently. He's pulled off another 10th of that lead. Taryn is already starting to run a little bit high.
Yeah, that is something we will see here at Richmond as the race does progress. There is a dynamic track in iRacing, as we know, on many of the different race tracks, and at Richmond you will see drivers going up maybe about a lane by the end of this race.
Yeah, this track, you really wouldn't think it would move up that much, but a lot of times you can move up to that second groove, and it can really help you get some good runs off the corners.
Weather conditions here, as we didn't get to talk about them earlier in the race. 78 degrees in the air, 78 degrees on the track, 2-mile-an-hour wind, all normal circumstances here. We got 175 laps around the Richmond International Raceway for the championship decider race for the Hardline Racing Fast Track Sims Cup Series. We will eliminate 4 drivers and have 4 drivers remaining next week for the deciding championship race at the Homestead Miami Speedway for the Hardline Racing League. But we have 150 laps left to figure out who's going to be that top 4 drivers. And here comes Sweeting with another charge, another quarter of a second off of that deficit.
And Nick Massey behind these drivers, he's running some pretty good times, but in 1 and 2 especially, he's already started to move up to about where the almost like at the top of the second group, if I can figure out the words. And yeah, he's running up there just barely in the second group now, but bring it down on the exit.
Yeah, that is the way you want to approach the speedway. You want to get that run off of corner exit so you can get that straight shot and give yourself some more straightaway speed. That is the motive behind that groove. And doesn't really seem to be cutting any deficit, but he is kind of running in his own little, groove there, keeping that space.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised to see them running up there this early. I didn't think the track would get this rubbered in. Still in 3 and 4, they're staying right on the bottom of it. In 1 and 2, they're moving up already, and only 23 laps in.
And here comes a big dive by Sweeting to the back bumper of Shane Tarrant in turn number 1. He dove it into the inside, but typically when you do that, you're not going to get the corner exit that Shane Tarrant got, so he did pull away by a little bit, but here comes Sweeting in the center.
Sweeting once again into the back bumper of Shane Tarrant. Now on the front stretch, Tarrant getting the run off the corner, down the front stretch into turn number 1. Sweeting once again trying to dive it in underneath Tarrant, but Tarrant's getting the run off the corner. Actually, Sweeting was able to hang with him there.
Yeah, if he can pull that line off, he will be extremely well off. Will Chuck Sweeting, he needs to be able to dive it in, but still be able to get the corner exit as he did this time by.
These drivers are coming up on the lapper. I believe that's the 18 of Cody Tabor. Yes, it is. He's only about half a straightaway, if that, in front of these guys.
Yes, he is. He's not obviously having the pace of some of these drivers. He's about a second off the pace in that number 18, so they will get to his back bumper in no time as they exit turn number 4. 1 and 2 still in the same order, but I'll tell you, I think Sweeting is going to have something in a couple laps for him.
Yeah, Sweeting is definitely faster, and now moving up to the second groove and then cutting down to the bottom on exit to get the run down the back stretch.
Big
he
wiggle.
Pretty good run.
Big wiggle, Evan. Sorry, off turn number 2 for Nick Massey in the 48. Something worth noting that these drivers may be losing the handle of these machines as the tires wear off.
Getting underneath the 18 of Cody Tabor, the lap car going in high. Into the wall in front of Massey. He's around on the front backstretch. No caution yet.
There it is.
Caution out.
That was well, let's just see what happened there before we call out any situations. Tabor running the high groove, letting the leaders go, but he exited turn number 2, put himself in the wall, and in the left front of Nick Massey was some contact, and Tabor obviously into the inside barrier on the back straightaway. So he was trying so hard to stay out of the way that he indirectly put himself in the way. See, the left front of Massey was the one that part of the corner of that vehicle that got the most damage, but I don't think it's too bad off. So
as long as that didn't hurt the engine, which I don't think that line of contact would. It's a short track, so aero doesn't matter that much as long as there's no engine damage.
Yeah, that is something that the pit crew should be able to bust out the old hammer for and punch that down over the course of a pit stop. But we are on pit lane right now on lap number 30. The entire field, I do believe, takes it to the attention of their crews, all except the number 92 of Christopher Matthews. Stays on the speedway.
He's got some pretty good right front damage on that machine. I don't know if he will stay out for the, or if he's just staying out there to get points, or if he's going to come down pit road.
He did already get scored as the race leader, so he did get a point for that achievement. So it looks like he will pull to the apron in 3 and 4 and take it into the pit lane. And while we have a moment, do want to apologize to all of the folks watching tonight's broadcast. It was a very abbreviated start, but we did make it just in time for the race. Real life does set in, unfortunately, and kind of throw some curveballs at you, but we managed to pull it off and get on the air for tonight's race. So hope you do enjoy today's coverage. Thanks to Evan Black for picking up the slack for the first part of the stream, and for kind of a behind-the-scenes partner Cole Borgstadt kind of stepping in as well. But all of the PTR TV team coming to help out. But we are back to normal circumstances here under lap 31.
It wasn't spoken upon, but I've been watching Tyler Hensley, and he actually did gain 3 positions from the start of the race until that caution.
Yeah, I remember.
So he is making his way through the field.
I remember from what we were told, he did start the race from pit lane, so he did have to start from the back and at a significant time deficit. So this will put him back into the swing of things.
Yeah, and he qualified in 7th, so we know he has some pretty good speed. So he should be able to get up into at least the top 10, maybe the top 5, and see if he has anything to say for those leaders.
We are in the Fast Track Sims Cup Series. A little bit of information on that in terms of how these races are run. We have 75% fuel load, no fast repairs, no backup cars, and just to confirm the stage, Evan, I think you were aware of that. Was it 75?
Yes, lap 75 is the stage. No caution will be thrown. Top 10 will get points, which can be very vital to especially the playoff drivers.
Right now, we can let you know the top 4 is as long as we don't have one to go, which we do. So very quickly, let you know the top 4 right now: Massey, Begunia, LaPrat, and Bresci. Shane Taryn is, as I do some very quick math, 1 point behind Bresci for that final playoff spot. So that is something we need to note. Hensley is going to have to gain some spots to get that position he needs on Thomas Bresci.
Joshua Adams did come up pit road in second. Where'd Chuck Sweeting go? All the way back to 14th.
Does he have a penalty, perhaps?
He must have. But anyway, pace car getting ready to pull down in the pit road. There it goes. Waiting on Taryn, who chose the outside lane. He is on the throttle. We are back underway here at the Richmond Raceway. And Taryn has cleared Adams with no surprise.
We'll enter turn number 1. Adams will try to get the run on the bottom and clear Begunia on the top. Looks like Begunia's internet issue has cleared itself up, so he's able to race with these guys up front. Single file for about the first 5 or 6 positions.
Brad running that second groove, knocking it down to the yellow line out of 4. Behind them, Robert Kinney around in the grass. He keeps it straight in the grass. No caution yet. Looks like he will keep it going.
Go on PTR TV replay, see what happened to the number 10 machine of Robert Kenny. He is going through turn number 4 at the moment and just looped her on around. Luckily through the grass, keeps it going there. A little agricultural work, but Kenny does continue.
A lot of battling going on around this racetrack. 48 of Nick Massey trying to get around the 4 of Casey Shue. Trying to get around him for the 7th position. Shue running high through 3 and 4. Nick Massey trying to get to his back bumper.
Yeah, Massey has a lot of time to gain. He had to repair that damage after the contact with Cody Tabor, so he's back in the 7th position, but he has 2 positions right in front of him. Tyler Hensley right ahead of him, and the money spot for Hensley is right ahead of him. He needs to get to the bumper and clear Thomas Bresci to try to get that point he needs.
Tyler Hensley restarted in the 12th position, so really good moves from him to get from 12th to 6th in just the 5 or so laps we ran.
Last time around, he ran a 21:48 around the track, and I'll tell you that was about a top 3 or 4 pace, so that is what he needs. Taryn fastest of everybody at a 21:3.
Briar LaPrade is still trying to get around that 7 of Begunia. Begunia getting a little bit loose out of 2. LaPrade has the run. Right to the back bumper, entering turn number 3, backing off early, so LaPrade can get the run off of the corner. There he goes out of 4, getting a pretty good run down the front stretch.
Yeah, it is very hard to get a move set up here at Richmond. You can be faster than someone, but they can be faster. You can be faster, but they can kind of block the momentum in the places that you need to get it. You could be behind someone, stuck for quite a many laps.
Yeah, this track, it's really hard to pass that cleanly. As Brad really loose out of 4. Keeps it straight, but Thomas Bresci looking underneath and going into turn 1. Bresci can't get down there, he's trying. Bresci getting loose now as well as Brad.
Bresci really dove it in deep into turn number 3, all the way to the top groove. I wonder if that was on purpose. Didn't look like it was, because he did lose some time in the process of it. Brad will be clear and have a little bit of breathing room. And up front, just as reference, Taryn about half a second ahead of Adams, and you saw him already working the groove there, the higher lane in 1 and 2.
Yeah, Taryn's been running that in 1 and 2 since pretty much the beginning of this race, and it's working for him as he is still pulling away from the field.
You can see here as he completely goes almost to the 3rd hash lane there, and you can see him cut all the way to the bottom, nearly
just look at the run he got.
Yeah, and he almost cut the nose off of the 88 in the center of the turn. I have never seen anyone run that high of a groove, especially this early in the race.
Probably just experimenting for what he can do later. He was about 600 slower, so he knows not to do that again this early.
Yeah, you can see this.
He's down right back to the bottom.
This time by all the way back to the white line, or yellow line rather, in the turns.
Why do tracks have different colored lines?
Just to confuse
It's in the
us.
same spot.
Just to confuse us in the booth, Evan. Just to confuse us in the booth. Looks like everybody is pretty well spaced out at the moment, kind of getting into their own little rhythm. Closest battle on the track is still Begunia and LaPrade and Bresci, all third, fourth, and fifth respectively.
Yeah, LaPrade's still trying to get around Begunia. Begunia's starting to pull away a little bit from him.
Now the closest battle, as we kind of talked about on the final lap of caution there, the closest battle for points is indeed fourth and fifth. As I said, Bresci only has a single point on Shane Taryn. 3,086 to 3,085. Tyler Hensley back in sixth. He is, let me see if I can do some quick math here. I believe 9 points out. So a lot more work for Hensley, but, sorry, Joshua Adams, I'm preferring to say. Long story short, as I confused myself, Tyler Hensley is the one that needs a point. It was Joshua Adams who is about 9 points out, so that's going to be a lot harder of a battle. He's going to need stage points and a win, but Hensley is just going to need 1 point over Bresci.
Which right now, Hensley is starting to lose positions once again. Bresci's in the 5th position, and Tyler just got passed for 8th.
Yeah, 1 point is 1 position. So he would need 1 to tie. Not sure who would get the tiebreaker, so he would really need to be 2 positions ahead unless there's some bonus points involved. And with the stage in 25 laps, Bresci will have more stage points, and at the end of the day, he may have more race points, or it could be a lot harder of a battle for Hensley to get that last spot.
Yeah, right now if they finish where they are running currently in the stage, then Hensley would have to be, what, about 4 spots ahead of him? To tie?
Yeah, that'd be an extra 4 points to Bresci. I mean, yeah, to Bresci via the stage. So that would be 5 positions.
5 points.
And right now, he's four positions back, but in the negative direction. So it's going to be an uphill battle, but still plenty of time here in this race for stuff to happen. To the front of the field, we give a little bit of a double check. Nothing going on with the third, fourth, fifth battle. They are still nose to nose to nose. And then up front, Adams is starting to dig into the gap that Taryn did extend a little bit. A big wiggle from the 88 off of 2.
They both got sideways there out of 2, so neither of them really lost any ground. But 88 of Adams driving in really deep into 3. Taryn really loose off of 4. So Adams did gain a little bit that lap.
Yeah, they got down.
Taryn going high again.
Oh, that's all.
Adams underneath them. Contact.
I don't know, man. I don't know, Evan. I know he wants to run the high groove. I think he may be overshooting his marks to run that high. I mean, what do you know? I could be wrong. I am on quite a many occasions. Let's see what he does this lap.
Yeah, I really don't know why he would run that high. Running like where he is just there, that's fine, but I don't know why he would be running up in the third groove.
Richmond, especially turn number 1, the braking point is extremely finicky, so you really have to be careful with where you're on the binders, and you may just be overshooting it by about half a second as about to approach the slower car of Glenn Bowen in the 70.
Yeah, he's running up in the 3rd lane, giving all the leaders the bottom.
Remember what happened to
up
Tabor?
In the wall again.
They're going to be
3 wide for second.
It's a second car today, Evan, where they were trying so hard to get out of the way that they ended up putting themselves in the way.
Still battle going on for second. Cole Begunia on the outside now of Joshua Adams. He will clear.
Yeah, that is probably not the way that Adams has wanted it to go. He was trying to get closer to Shane Taryn. Now he's going to lose another spot. LaPrade going to look to the outside. Let's see if he can pull that move off.
Adams getting underneath Cole Begunia once again for second. Begunia given no room down to the bottom. Now Briar LaPrade to the outside of Joshua Adams going down into turn number 3. Adams still trying to get underneath Cole Begunia.
Yeah, Adams on the inside and LaPrade to the outside in the number 12 machine. It's going to be a lot harder for Adams on the bottom. He's going to have a lot harder time holding the momentum. It's going to be a really close call off turn number 2. LaPrade still has the position to the outside.
Dead even into turn 3, almost contact between Adams and Begunia, but Adams getting down on the apron just a little bit, so that's going to give LaPrade the run down into turn number 1. Adams driving in deep into the corner, sliding up just a little bit. LaPrade giving no room to Adams down on the bottom.
That's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to hold that momentum off so that Adams cannot get the corner arc. He did do that, cleared for the position. Now let's see if LaPrade can do anything with Begunia.
Now Thomas Bresci trying to get around the 80 Adams for the 3rd position. Going down into turn number 1. Adams diving underneath LaPrade for 3rd.
To the inside off turn number 2, nothing doing. He's got to watch out because Bresci is going to have the momentum. Almost filled the gap in there. Took a look to the inside, thought better of it. He'll pull back in line. All 4 of these drivers within a 1/10 of a second. Here comes Begunia having his issues.
Yeah, LaPrade got a little bit loose out of 4. Could have been because he saw that Cole Begunia had a little bit of internet issues there, but Adams driving in really deep into 1 underneath LaPrade, getting loose off of the corner. LaPrade is not clear yet. Thomas Bresci right behind him, just lurking there.
Yeah, at this point they're side by side. Bresci has nowhere he can go until one of the lanes opens up. It looks like that lane may be on the bottom, I believe, because, well, I'll take that back. I thought Adams was going to be clear off turn number 4 and lose the spot, but he does continue going side by side off turn number 2 still.
Going into turn number 3 now, still side by side for the 3rd position. Adams with a slight advantage. Now LaPrade has the advantage out of 4. Down the front stretch, going into turn number 1, still dead even.
Looks like LaPrade had the edge at the end of the front straightaway, but he went way too high. Adams will clear.
Adams getting loose.
Yeah, I thought he was going to clear. Couldn't quite pull off the slide job. That's going to give the 12 machine the run into turn number 3 on the outside. He'll run that outside groove, see if he can get the run off for 4. He will clear, but Adams is still going to give it a surge to the inside, try to hook that yellow line. He'll get door to door through the center of the turn and had a pretty good run off of exit. He'll keep the left rear quarter panel there, keep the run. And here goes side by side yet again, but I don't think it's going to work this time.
LaPrade will most likely clear now down the front stretch. Still not clear, actually. Going down into 1. Adams has an advantage now, trying to slide him in front of him, but is not clear. Coming out of turn 2, LaPrade with the run.
We are 10 to go on the stage, by the way, so I think we're going to see these guys get a little bit more racy than what they have been, especially on these used up tires.
Yeah, 10 laps to go at the line. That's a good point, Cole. Neither of us were really paying any attention to that as LaPrade clears, cuts down in front of Adams.
Here comes Bresci trying to take advantage of the fact that Adams slowed up a little bit there, having to avoid the number 12 as he cleared him. Adams going to dive it to the outside in turn number 3 and 4. Nothing doing. Tries maybe a little crossover off of 4. Wiggle from both of them, but everyone carries on.
And Taryn is just pulling away from this battle back here, and Cole Begunia is trying to get away from Adams and LaPrade as well. What's Taryn's points situation? Does he need these points, Corey?
Yeah, as I'll pull up the points. Yeah, remember Taryn only has, I don't know, I think I've screwed this up about 12 times explaining it. So I'll explain it one more time, and I'll explain it the right way. Shane Taryn is 5th in the points, behind Thomas Bresci. So I think the whole time I've been saying Hensley, but I meant to say Taryn because it's a small chart and I have really bad vision. But Shane Taryn is 1 point behind Thomas Bresci. Final answer, Regis. So at this point, Taryn is in.
Most definitely, because he's going to get about 5 more points than Bresci just by the stage, and then he's going to get, if it were to end right now, he'd probably get about 7 more from the race.
And Massey is leading. We have Begunia 2nd, LaPrade in 3rd. And they have a pretty good buffer, especially with the field size. I think those 3 drivers are safe. So 4th is really the only one I'm worried about having any kind of shakeup on.
speaking of Nick Massey, he has been making minced meat of this field. He went from, you know, restarting in the back, and he's already back up to 6th, looking for 5th.
Yeah, so that damage on the left front of that machine has not hurt him much, if at all. You can see it's right on the back bumper of Bresci, and now back out for the 2nd position, Briar Laprade is right on the back bumper of Cole Bagunia.
Yeah, and he's going to have to navigate through the poor internet connection, which will make it a lot harder to pass for Laprade, but he definitely is faster, so he's going to have to make it happen, as Taryn is still out by over a second.
But these drivers are starting to close in on Shane Taryn.
Yeah, Taryn is up by over a second, but it was closer to about a second and a half. The deficit now is only down to about 1.3, so a couple tenths falling off as Laprade really high there off turn number 4. It's going to open the door in the momentum for Josh Adams to the inside.
Josh Adams back looking for the 3rd position, diving in deep into turn 1, side by side down the back stretch, getting ready to enter turn 3. Joshua Adams still on the inside, diving in once again, right to the back bumper of Bagunia, while they're still side by side for 3rd. Laprade really loose. That's going to allow Adams to clear.
And Nick Massey, as Cole was bringing up with his amazing pace that he has had since the restart, he is very close to the back of Bresci, which is not too far off the back of the pack we've been following.
Now Laprade looking underneath Adams. Couldn't quite get to his quarter panel there. And this is the stage white flag, so these drivers are going to be racing as hard as they can to get those points.
Yeah, this is going to be huge for Taryn. Remember, he needs to gain that 1 point. He's going to do that and then some, as he will get the stage 1 win and the 10 bonus points affiliated with it.
Now Joshua Adams looking underneath Cole Bagunia for 2nd. Down into turn number 1. Adams is clear. That was a really good move by Joshua Adams to get by Cole Bagunia that easily.
Yeah, I wonder if Bagunia just kind of wanted to settle in, or maybe just play nice, because he does know the connection he does have. But he is in 3rd position. Bagunia has 3,088 points. Laprade has 3,088 points. Bresci 3,086, and then Taryn 3,085.
Shane Taryn has gotten by the lap car, the 92 of Christopher Matthews, which Joshua Adams and the guys behind him will be coming up on here shortly, as they're almost right on the back bumper of them. They're now in the same corner.
All right, let's bring up the lap tracker here, see who is the fastest driver of the front pack right now. Last time by, it was Josh Adams by about a 10th. We'll see what it is this time by without lap traffic affecting Taryn. At the stripe, it's going to be a 22.31 to a 22.3, so 88 was just a skosh faster.
It's not quite a skosh, because a skosh is about 300ths of a second.
Don't call me out on my own references. But a lot of traffic here back in the pack from about 3rd through 5th. Bresci has a number 48 right to his back bumper here.
Yeah, Nick Massey was looking underneath Bresci, but Bresci just cut him off coming out of the corner, and now Chuck Sweeting is right behind Nick Massey. Chuck Sweeting looking underneath Massey down the backstretch, trying to get that 6th position. Looks like Massey will just let him go.
But the pole sitter of Chuck Sweeting now back in the 6th position, trying to get himself further back up into the pack as he passes Massey, who was, maybe he burnt his tires off having it back all the way to where he is. 92 all the way up the track. No event that time. Remember, we've seen 2 drivers so far get all the way high in 1 and 2 trying to get out of the way, and ended up actually making contact with drivers. But Thomas Bresci has a very hungry and quick 26 machine in his mirror. Has to watch out, but at the same time, Bresci is trying to get around Laprade.
So Thomas Bresci trying to get by the 12 of Laprade, and now the 26 of Sweeting trying to get by him.
Up front, Taryn has pulled away a little bit actually. What was about a 1.3 to 1.4 second lead is now pushing 1 3/4 seconds. So Taryn's kind of getting back into his element and starting to pull away from the field. contact nearly from the 26 and the 24. The center of 3 and 4. I think Sweeting is diving it in a lot deeper. Got right to it, in fact, probably into the back bumper of the 24.
Yeah, Sweeting has been doing that the last few laps. I don't know if that's his tires are that much fresher, or not fresher, but if he just saved them better, or if he's just his driving style is able to dive it in.
Yeah, everybody's pretty much on the same set of tires right now. Everyone's been out on the circuit for 55 laps, so depending on how hard they have been driving, they may have a little bit more rubber to use on those tires to get some extra speed, but I know we talk about it all the time. We have a 75% fuel load in these machines. I think pit stops is usually around 80 to 90 laps here at Richmond, so if my horrible math is anywhere close to accurate, I think pit stops might be coming up in the next 20 laps.
Yeah, 75% fuel limit here in the Fast Track Sims Cup Series. So, yeah, like you said, Corey, pit stop should be coming here soon. As Chuck Sweeting diving in underneath Thomas Bressie. Bressie loose down the front stretch. Sweeting will clear.
Yeah, will the 24 play dead? Will he take another stab at it? He drove all the way to the back bumper. I wondered if he was going to put the bumper to him. Not going to happen. Sweeting will clear for the position, move into number 5.
Now Sweeting right to the back bumper of Briar O'Crad. As O'Crad getting really loose out of 4. Right to the back bumper into 1 and 2. He's running a lot lower. He's diving it down. He's at the door of the 12. Coming out of turn number 2. He's getting the run.
Yeah, so it does look like that the 26 machine may be the tire saving specialist, at least of the top 5 right now. Now he will potentially, if not definitively, clear the number 12 of LaPrade. Next one in his sights will be 3rd place Cole Begunia.
Chuck Sweeting ran the exact same lap time as Shane Tarrant, but Chuck Sweeting passed the 7 of Begunia, or the 14, no, the 12 of LaPrade.
Spit it out, Evan.
So basically, Sweeting passed the car and he ran the same lap time as Shane Tarrant.
There it is, simplistic form, but.
And now about 2 tenths, almost 3 tenths quicker was Sweeting than our leader Shane Tarrant.
Yeah, 22.27 to a 22.49. So by far the fastest machine on the speedway is the 26 machine. Let's see if he can keep it going. He now has already caught Cole Begunia, or very nearly has, should be there in a matter of laps. Deficit to 2nd place. Shane Tarrant to Josh Adams is kind of stabilized at about 1.7 seconds. LaPrade now trying to go to the outside of the 10 of Robert Kenny and putting him 1 lap off the pace. Kyle Zimmer and Simon Thorns off the pace. Christopher Matthews is in the pits right now, is taking it behind the wall. Actually, Glenn Bowen already behind the wall and Cody Tabor behind the wall. So we do have, I believe it to be 12 drivers still on the speedway.
Robert Kenny is putting up a fight. Tarrant was finally able to get by him, but Robert was trying.
Yeah, maybe try to find out what Tarrant's doing, if he's doing something wrong in terms of his line, and maybe try to learn something. And well, he hasn't dropped off too much.
Chuck Sweeting back looking underneath Cole Begunia for the 3rd position. He gets by him easily. So moves Sweeting into 3rd.
Yeah, he has a 2.5 second deficit, Evan. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that before pit stops. We are on lap number 65 of our runs right now since the first caution. So 2.5 seconds is quite a lot, but on the lap tracker, he is about a 1/10 a lap faster, so he should be able to eat into it a little bit.
Yeah, and he was right there a 1/10 a lap faster, and he passed a car. So if he, when he was just by himself, he was about 2 tenths quicker. We'll see what he is this lap.
Next person in his sights is Joshua Adams, who will have to navigate around Kyle Zimmer in the 20. The lap tracker indicates about a 1/10.5 in the positive direction for Chuck Sweeting, so he definitely has the long run speed.
Yeah, and he restarted at the tail end of the field, so in 67 laps now, he's been able to go from the tail of the field up to the 3rd position and closing in on the front 2.
Yeah, he's definitely doing something right as he goes to the inside of the lap car of Kyle Zimmer.
About 2.5 tenths in favor of Chuck Sweeting last time by.
It's all about how you enter your turns, all about how you exit your turns. If you drive it in deep, you're going to be using tires. If you're on the throttle hard every single time on exit, you're going to be using the tires. So the 26 kind of using a methodical approach to his line and keeping those tires cool, keeping the rubber on them, and now he's only 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, now Chuck Sweeting getting right behind the 88 of Joshua Adams. He'll probably beat to his back bumper here in a lap or so. About a half second behind him right now.
Remember, Nick Massey was making some serious time up beforehand. He is kind of stabilized in the 7th position. So the run he was having earlier in the stint has now kind of evaporated. Tyler Hensley as well, all the way back in 8th, kind of in his own world, about 7 seconds off the lead and about 3 seconds behind anybody else.
So now Chuck Sweeting is right to the back bumper of Adams going into turn 3. One thing Sweeting is now doing is he's really backing up his corners compared to at least the 88 of Adams. Adams is driving in a lot deeper.
Yeah, that is what saves the tires. That's what gets you the run off corner exit. So whatever's working for the 26, he needs to keep doing it because it is gaining him tons of time. And as another interesting point, Evan, we're on lap number 101. The pit window is open, and Shane Taryn on the queue is going to come into pit road this time by.
What has the fall off been like? About a second and a half?
Yeah,
for their best time.
Best lap is a 21.1, and they're about a second and a half off the pace. So now this is the battle for the lead at the moment. Sweeting to the inside of Adams, and we'll have to imagine they cannot stay out much longer. Sweeting.
And there's Sweeting.
Immediately to the pits.
Good entry by Sweeting. He made it on speed, and he didn't waste any time.
Yeah, because he would lose a second and a half extra deficit to Taryn when Taryn gets back up to full speed and we cycle out. So he wants to minimize that gap, so had to pit immediately. But Adams keeps it on the speedway. For Adams,
Shane Taryn out of pit road now. What were you going to say, Corey? So we're cutting you off a little bit?
No, it's all good. Adams is in need of a miracle to make the championship 4. So, I mean, it's not a... If there is a caution and it happens soon enough, he could trap the field a lap down. So I can understand entirely what he's doing. But if it does not work out like that, he's going to be in a terrible position.
But I really don't know if there's anything he can do to advance. Because he's... what, about 17 points behind the transfer spot?
Yep, the transfer spot of Bresci is 3,086 and Adams is at 3,070, and not sure the exact stage points he did accumulate, but
I know it's more than Bresci, but still he would need to
Bresci's gonna
finish
have
about 13 spots ahead of him, which
isn't physically possible.
Not anymore.
Yeah, so Adams may just be going for the race win, and if he can maybe trap the field lap down. Right now, Bresci and Massey, only other drivers on the speedway that have yet to pit. Robert Kenny lap down is technically being scored on the lead lap. He was a lap down, but due to the fact that Adams is now the leader, is no longer a lap down, if that makes any kind of sense.
So now what Robert Kenny and the top 3 that has stayed out, they are praying for a caution right now.
Which, given the fact that we are in a pretty spread out race with not really too many drivers on the speedway, I don't really see that happening, but we have seen stranger things come about. Just as a reference, Shane Taryn now exiting turn number 2. Chuck Sweeting just now exiting turn number 2. So that is about 3.7 seconds that Taryn has over Sweeting. That will be the P1 and P2 battle once everything cycles through.
And Joshua Adams is on pit road. So still waiting on Nick Massey and Thomas Bresci to pit.
I think Bresci's going to come this time by as he's breaking all the way down to the apron in 3 and 4. There he goes, and Massey,
as well as Robert Kinney.
Massey will keep it on the speedway, but Massey is your points leader with a pretty large deficit, 7 points in relative terms. So he's kind of, I think, just going for the win, but There goes Taryn to get back onto the lead lap. So at this point, Massey's
and there's Massey on pit road now.
But Massey, Evan, with how many laps he stayed out, he's going to be about nearly 2 laps down when he exits the pits. He wasn't really in the greatest position. He was about maybe half a lap down in 7th, but that call is going to take him out of any kind of possibility to have a good finish tonight.
Yeah, but it really doesn't matter for him.
He's up 7 points over second, and up, as I try to do quick math, because we know how well that's been working, he's up 9 points over the bubble spot, so he should still be in, but just not as comfortably as he normally would have been.
But where was he running before? 7th?
About
8th?
Yep.
And he's back right in 8th, so he lost about 1 spot.
Yeah, but he's going to be, as we have to wait for the scoring to cycle through, everybody has made their stops. I may have been off of my estimates.
He's 15 seconds, about 16 seconds off of the lead.
Oh, I thought he was going to be a lot worse off than that, so.
Well, it'd be about 1.5 seconds per lap, and then 8 laps, so it wouldn't be too bad. I don't know where you got 2 laps from, Corey.
Well, you see, I wasn't really in my rhythm at the start of this show, so I'm still getting into it. So the old mental calculator is a little out of whack. Not that it really ever is in whack, but
Nick Massey, with his last lap, he was a ½ second quicker than our leader, Shane Taryn.
Cole, you can laugh. I know that one was really bad.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I've never known your mental calculator to ever be in whack. So.
In whack. In whack. That is a new T-shirt. But
yeah, put that on a T-shirt.
Here comes Briar LaPrade, and who is that? It's Cole Bagunia that is 3rd and 4th as they pass the number 4 machine of Casey Shue, who is now a lap down in the 10th position. This is the closest battle on the track right now.
Chuck Sweeting is staying just about right where he is. I don't know if he's trying to save tires. He's got 1 lap fresher tires, but he's not gaining, he's not really losing either.
So if he's doing what he did last time and just kind of running his methodical pace, maybe Taryn is running the same pace, but he's pushing harder. So, I mean, that's always a possibility. We'll see if in the next 60 or so laps around the racetrack, if he can gain but 4 seconds. But I think 4 seconds is a lot even for his pace.
This strategy might not have turned out too bad for Nick Massey. He's running about 3/10 quicker per lap. I don't know if it'll get him to the lead, but he should be able to get back in the top 5.
Yeah, he is in the 8th position. Thomas Bresci is only about 1.5 seconds ahead of him in 7th. And then you have Tyler Hensley a little bit ahead of him, about 1 second ahead of him in 6th. So
Bresci and Massey pitted about the same time, so they're running fairly equal times, and they're both catching the guys in front of them.
Yeah, Tyler Hensley is the driver closest to Nick Massey that is on the oldest of tires, so I'd have to imagine he'll get at least that position at some point. But back up front, Shane Taryn, your leader, has led. Anyone want to take a stab at how many laps Shane Taryn's led so far?
110.
-4, and you're right on the money. 106 of 120 laps that number 38 has led tonight. That is absolutely dominating race here today for Shane Taryn, who's been kind of on a hot streak lately. He has won 3 races this season, and he's on pace to win 4, but still 50 or so laps left. He's got to keep on his game and hope for no caution, because otherwise Chuck Sweeting is going to be right there to pounce on him.
Going back to the 3rd position, Briar LaPrade trying to get around the 7 of Bagunia, and LaPrade looks like Bagunia's just going to let him go.
That battle had no playoff implications. Both those drivers pretty set in the positions they're in, should be able to transfer into next week, so no reason to push too hard for effectively a meaningless position. Closest battle on the track is between Hensley and Massey. It's about a half-second gap between those drivers. That is the 7th and 8th position.
Chuck Sweeting has been slowly but surely taking a stab at the 38's lead. I don't know if it will be enough for him to catch him if it keeps up at this rate, but he is catching him.
Last time by, it was only a half a tenth, which, I mean, it's still half a tenth, but at the rate he needs to gain, it is not going to do enough justice for him.
Because it'd take him probably, what, about 60 laps or so at this rate?
Yeah, I'm not.
And it's 50 to go?
I'm not doing that kind of math. I just know that those odds are pretty not in his favor. Simon Thorne's a couple laps down, exits the pits.
But over a tenth quicker last time by. If he keeps up a tenth or so, a tenth or more quicker per lap, he will catch him.
But catching him's one thing, passing him's another, but he was, again, faster by a tenth last time by, so if he gains a tenth a lap, he will most certainly...
30 laps to catch him.
He'll have 20 laps to get by, but that's at a tenth a lap. We'll see if that pace does carry on, if Taryn can get into a groove, or if the 26 drops off. We'll see what it is. We'll keep you updated on it. Looks like Cole Bagudia has not dropped too far off the back bumper of LaPrade, only about 4/10, so I wonder if he's maybe following what the 12 is doing and seeing if he can get back to him.
The 48 of Massey did make a pass for 7th place against Tyler Hensley. Now it looks like he is going to try to run down Thomas Bressy.
Yeah, him and Bressy are on around the same set of tires, but Massey is still quicker. Running about half tenths to a tenth quicker, just over a tenth last time by. It's a really good lap for Massey.
Yeah, kind of confused a little bit by Nick Massey. Obviously, he had a little bit of a skirmish with Cody Tabor, but he got it repaired, and he just has not been able to run what he ran earlier. I wonder if that damage maybe has a little more effect than we originally thought.
I think it may affect the aero a little bit. Like, you know, it's going to affect it quite a bit on the long run, like as terms of like speed, but I think honestly for this short of a track, I think a little bit of nose damage isn't going to hurt him as much as what it would.
Yeah,
if
I think
it was a bigger wreck.
I think the main thing is if he just hasn't had the caution he needs to be able to catch back up to these guys. If he gets the caution, he'll be a contender, I think. But we don't know if we'll have another caution.
He may have a little bit more damage he wants to get done, but get repaired to it, but I don't know how much faster it would make him at this point, but he has to get around Casey Shue, the lap car, and he will have a stab at Thomas Bressy for the 6th position. And just as a reference up front, the lead is now under the 3-second barrier. Chuck Sweeting now 2.8 seconds, still kind of holding about, last time only about a half of a tenth faster, so not the same amount faster, but he is still chipping a tiny bit each lap.
Yeah, it's going to need to run a little bit quicker if he's going to be able to catch Shane Taryn before this race is over.
But how many times, I mean, Cole, obviously I know you haven't been here with us as many times, but Evan, you've been here for quite a lot of these races. How many hardline races have we covered where we thought it was a similar race, kind of like 10 or 12 drivers left, huge lead, and then somehow out of the blue there's a caution with like 7 laps to go?
That has happened quite a bit, and there's a possibility for it to happen tonight, but I don't see it happening with only having one caution. How spread out this field is.
Yeah, race summary thus far. We've had that one caution for 4 laps, 7 lead changes, and we are at 42 laps left to go. 41 as Taryn takes another lap off.
I mean, you also got to think about it. I mean, it just takes one mistake to bring out a caution. That's all it takes. You know, a driver just has to slip up, gets up to the wall, and spins something.
Yeah, as a good point, Cole, as we saw a couple times earlier. We saw it with Cody Tabor. We saw it with Glenn Bowen, 2 lappers that were, especially in 1 and 2, trying to run really high, get out of the groove, stay out of the way as much as possible. Ended up hitting the fence and ended up almost collecting, if not collecting, some drivers in the process.
Yeah, and with Thomas Bressy and Nick Massey kind of battling how they are, if Massey just dives it in just a little bit too deep and gets him in the quarter panel, Bressy's going to go around. just slight miscalculations can bring out a caution.
Yeah, with Richmond, it's a really finicky track on the brakes, a little bit too much. You're gonna lock them up, maybe get a little wheel hop, not enough, and you're just not gonna hit your mark. So you really have to be perfect on that braking point, and especially when you're in this heated of a battle, you are prone to make mistakes. Again, we are on iRacing Live, bringing you coverage of the Fast Track Sims Hardline Cup Series for their championship decider. 4 drivers of the 8 still in the playoffs will carry over for the championship next week at Homestead. Want to thank the people in the booth. We have Evan Black, Cole Borgstedt, myself, Corey Silva, and Joe Chris behind the scenes as usual. From BTR TV, bringing you tonight's action. There's going to be 35 laps to go, and up front, the lead now down to about 2.5 seconds, but I don't think the math is in Chuck Sweeting's favor anymore.
Yeah, some laps he's around a 10th quicker, but some he's only half-tenth, and then sometimes even a little bit slower. But if he can keep up a 10th, he still has time.
He's not going to have time to make a very clean and methodical pass. He might get there right at the white and have to do something assertive, but I mean, it's a short track. We've seen that happen before, but 35 laps to go, 2.5 seconds. We'll see what the tracker says this time by for who's running what. 22.22 to a 22.11, so 1.1 of a second. 2.5 second lead still.
One mistake by Shane Tarrant and Sweeting can be there. Just if he just gets a little high, gets into the wall, he's going to lose all his momentum, and Chuck Sweeting might be right on his back bumper. Or
the other way around. You got to remember that Sweeting could be trying so hard and just trying varying lines, and he could hit the wall. He could get a little bit too high, and if he makes one mistake, gets too high, loses 0.3 of a second, we know how hard that is to gain back.
Massey and Bresci still racing hard for the 6th position. Massey just about got into him. Now getting into the back bumper. Moving Bresci up the track out of turn 4.
Well, that's not getting into him. He's just letting him know he's there.
He let him know he was there. Now let's see if Bresci retaliates. We've seen that before out of this Hardline Racing League. Drivers not afraid to make the move when they know they've been done wrong. Enter at turn number 3. I don't think Bresci's going to be able to get to him. Let's see what happens on corner exit. Looks like Massey will get the run and pull away. He's now in the 6th position.
I'll tell you now, Bresci is going to be driving as hard as he can to try and get back to the back bumper of the 40th of Massey and return the favor.
Guys, something has happened up front because the gap is now only 1.5 seconds. Last time by, Tarrant 0.7 slower than Chuck Sweeting. We have a race, boys.
Shane Tarrant had a massive wiggle out of 2 and lost a ton of ground back to Chuck Sweeting. He got loose out of 2 and just took it easy all the way till the exit of 4. Chuck Sweeting's going to get there.
Might be able to carry it to you on replay here, but just let me know if anything does happen. Try to see what happened to Shane Tarrant if we can. Oh, there it is. Huge wiggle, as Evan said, all the way down midway through the back straightaway. He had a big wiggle, and that affected his run through turns 3 and 4 as well. The gap less than a second.
Yeah, he never got fully back up to speed until the front stretch. But now just 3/4 of a second separating the front 2.
Chuck Sweeting is not in playoff contention, but he has been a very quick driver in the races he has raced. He only missed a couple compared to everybody else, but he is making his name known in Hardline. He is less than 0.7 of a second away. We'll check out the tracker and see what the laps are this time by, as Tarrant is back to normal pace, and we still give a 0.5 to Chuck Sweeting.
How hard is Tarrant going to drive to try and hang on to this lead? Right now, coming into this race, he is out of the top 4. With the stage points, he's probably inside of it, even if he finishes 2nd.
Yeah,
but if they wreck racing, he will most likely be out of the playoffs.
Now, you never, as a racer, want to lose. I mean, ultimately, who wants to lose? But if Taryn gets himself turned or does something and loses positions, falls back to, let's say, last on the lead lap, he's going to miss. He's probably going to miss or be extremely close. If he finishes second, he's still in.
Exactly. With the amount of stage points he has gotten, if he can finish second and be perfectly fine. But
into the wall.
If he gets wrecked, he's not going to make it. Or he has to think big picture.
Do you want to win or do you want to play safe? We all know what the easy answer to say is. We want to win, but sometimes you have to bite the apple and
bite the apple.
I don't know. I would bite.
Sometimes you have to bite the apple.
The apple that is the truth.
You mean bite the bullet?
Yes.
Sometimes you have to bite the apple that is the truth.
That's a T-shirt right there.
But anyways, Chuck Sweeting is right to the back bumper of Shane Taryn.
I should have let you guys call this race by yourselves, huh? But
no, I'm glad you joined just for that.
But here we go, guys. The battle is on. Taryn he has no lead whatsoever. Sweeting has gotten a second lead and has gotten it down to about 6 inches here as we go off turn number 4 down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Sweeting takes it a little bit higher. You know he's going to go for the crossover off 2.
How long is Sweeting going to try and pass cleanly before he gives him the bumper? That is going to be the question here.
I have not known Sweeting to be that type of racer, so to be honest, I'm not expecting a bumper. I'm expecting a nice, clean fought battle, but I've been wrong.
Reversing back about a lap and a half, the 24 of Thomas Bresci actually got extremely loose out of 2 and actually ran down the wall a little bit.
Yeah, you can see the damage to the right side of that 24 machine as he's in the 7th position. But we got to keep our eyes focused on the battle for the lead as there is now less than 20 laps to go. Exactly
20 to go.
20 to go in the race here. Here comes Sweeting trying to hook the yellow line there as Taryn ran about a half a lane up. That kind of gave him a little momentum, gave him a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, Taryn's starting to pull back away just a little bit. Chuck Sweeting might be trying to overdrive it here a little bit now, just trying to get to the bumper of Shane Taryn and get it around him.
But did he use his stuff up at all, guys? He had to come back from quite the deficit, but coming off turn number 2, looks like he gained a little bit of time here.
I don't know, because he gained most of that time whenever Taryn got loose.
Yeah, he gained about 3/4 of a second. They both have a little bit of wiggle out there, but what Sweeting needs to do, and it's very hard, he needs to run his line. He can't fall into the trap of what Taryn's doing. He needs to focus on what he's doing, set him up, and just make a clean pass.
I mean, also, if you rewind before this last green flag stop, though, I mean, Chuck Sweeting, his lines have been great. He's been running excellent lap times compared to Shane Taryn at the end of these long runs.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting has been the best on these long runs. I don't know, I guess he's just saving his tires, because he was running a little bit slower than Taryn at the beginning of the run, but just here at the end, he is so much faster than him.
You can see he took it all the way to the 2nd groove. He's going to try to get that run off of 4 down the front straightaway, and it worked. It got him a little bit of time. I think he's going to have to run. He's going to have to run the high groove in 1 and 2, but that's exactly what Taryn is doing. But I think the 38 is not doing it nearly as well.
Sweeting and Taryn both right back down to the bottom here in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, they were both liking to run the 2nd groove, and now Chuck Sweeting right back down to the bottom.
Sweeting is getting a really good run on the bottom in turn number 2, and I'll tell you, that is a very good skill to have because it'll allow him to get side by side in 3 and 4 if he can get close enough. And I do think, I mean, I've used this reference at a couple tracks before. He is in...
taking a dive down to his quarter panel.
This is the closest he has been. He took a look, but he will get back into line. I was going to say, if he's within this deficit, he's in what I like to call dive bomb range, where he could sail it in there if he did want to.
Yeah, when you're about 2/10 back is where it's in the kind of dive bomb range where you can do it without I guess you can do it without it being a total, complete dirty move.
Yeah, I was gonna say bleep move, but that's it. Another way to.
I was trying to find the wording that would be family friendly.
And you did just that, Evan. So kudos to you. You can have an apple. But off of turn number 2.
An apple of truth.
Apple of truth. There it is. Off of turn number 2. Again, a very good run to the number 26. But I'll tell you, I think Taryn's able to hold him off pretty well. But Taryn did not get through 3 and 4 at all. Big wiggle.
Really sideways on the front stretch, but he really didn't lose that much ground.
He did lose a little bit of time, but not too much. And I'll tell you, this is the money spot for Sweeting. It's off turn number 2. He gets right to the back bumper, but Taryn's able to kind of run through 3 and 4 a little more consistent, and that gets him to run down the front straightaway. We'll see what happens this time.
10 laps to go at the line. Chuck Sweeting still all over the back bumper of Shane Taryn going into 1. Chuck Sweeting running the second groove through 1 and 2. Shane Taryn still down on the bottom. Sweeting once again getting loose out of 2.
Yeah, he didn't get as good of a run off turn number 2 as he has got, but he looks like he's getting through 3 and 4 better this lap, so he gained some time, kind of stabilized a little bit. Let's see if he can take advantage of his money spot in turn 2.
The battle for 5th is also heating up. I don't want to try to take all the attention away from the lead, but the battle for 5th is also starting to heat up.
Yeah, Massey is trying to make some ground on Bagunia, so we'll kind of follow this simultaneously. As up front, looks like Taryn has got himself a little bit of room to play with here, about 0.2 of a second. Massey to the inside of Bagunia. This is off turn number 4, kind of lost that momentum, will fall back into line, and here we go again for the lead off of 2. Sweeting gets there, but Taryn pulls away, entering the turn in into 3 and 4.
Now coming out of 4, Sweeting getting a pretty good run, pretty even down the front stretch, getting ready to go down into turn 1. Chuck Sweeting backing up his corners a little bit more and running higher, trying to get the run out of 2. And he is doing just that down the backstretch. He is closing in.
Yeah, guys, I'm not seeing anything right now that would indicate that he's going to be able to do it cleanly. I do think he's going to have to get a little assertive unless Taryn makes a mistake.
Yeah, if Shane Taryn keeps running mistake-free, which he has for all except for turn 2 one time, but Sweeting right to the quarter panel.
That's
out of turn 2, side by side down the backstretch. Sweeting getting loose, getting ready to go down into turn 3. Taryn has cleared once again, but Sweeting diving in there. Contact.
8 wheels is better than 4. He gave him a little bit of a door tap in 3 and 4. Stay side by side. This is the battle for the lead, the battle for the win. 5 laps to go, entering turn 1 and 2.
Chuck Sweeting down on the bottom. He is a little bit faster than Shane Taryn. Taryn trying to fight back on the outside, down the backstretch. Chuck Sweeting has a little bit of an advantage, entering 3. Contact.
He hit him. He pushed him up the track. 8 wheels is better than 4. 26 to the lead. 4 laps to go. If Taryn, he's going to get a run.
Taryn's going to give him a shot. I guarantee it.
He's not going to like that move. He's going to enter turn number 1 and 2. Taryn needs to think of the big picture, though. He does not want to get himself wrecked out of a championship. So he's going to have to go for the win, but has to drive responsibly at the same time.
So now can Shane Taryn get once again to the back bumper of Chuck Sweeting to have an opportunity to give him the bumper? That is the question. Just 3 laps to go.
Yeah, he's still by no means out of it. He takes a stab at it, dove it to the inside, gained some time in the entry of 1, but he will not be able to hold it on corner exit. Sweeting will pull away as we enter turn number 3. It'll be 2 laps to go.
Shane Taryn just needs to focus on the exits to get back to his back bumper. But I think Chuck Sweeting has pulled away enough now that Taryn won't be able to get back to him. 2 laps to go.
Yeah, Taryn took a little bit of a dive into turn number 1, seeing if he could hold anything. Nothing doing. Sweeting enjoys about a 3/10 second lead as we will approach the white flag lap.
Shane Taryn driving in deep into 3, still just trying to get to his back bumper. Chuck Sweeting leading this race. White flag in the air. He started on the pole.
He started on the pole, did Chuck Sweeting, but did not lead many laps. The race was very well dominated by Shane Taryn, leading well over 100 laps around the racetrack, but in good old-fashioned short track style, he gave him 8 wheels better than 4. He shoved him up the track. He gained a huge deficit and shrunk it down, and Chuck Sweeting is going to win here at Richmond International Raceway.
Shane Taryn coming home 2nd. Bridewell Pratt will be coming home 3rd here tonight at the Richmond Raceway.
After that exciting finish, that hectic battle between Sweeting and Taryn, we will offer our congratulations to the winner, Chuck Sweeting, and be back momentarily for the post-race show. So stay with us here on PTR TV.
the car behind me is my Chili Bowl midget, the one that I won the Chili Bowl with. And what's interesting about that is it's actually the car that iRacing scanned that's going to be available to all the iRacing members out there.
Welcome back to PTR TV, folks. After that hectic and exciting short track battle we saw between Chuck Sweeting and Shane Tarrant to wrap up tonight's race, so we will bring to you the post-race show now, and Cole Borgstadt will talk to the third place finisher of Briar LaPrade.
Hey, Briar, how you doing tonight?
Yeah, doing pretty good at PTR TV broadcast booth. Get a copy.
Well, I guess that's still a thing around here. How was your car tonight? You know, how did it feel? How did it run?
Felt great. Nice, good grip all night long. Just fun race. Gotta keep the tires as fresh as you can. It was a good battle. I had a good seat to watch Chuck and Shane battle at the end there.
Oh yeah, definitely. How do you feel about being in the final four, going to Homestead? What are your thoughts? Do you have any strategy for it?
It's pretty good. It was going to be a close battle there for who got in there. But I think I'm going to put on my PTR TV broadcast booth to get a copy t-shirt once I get that. And then I think I have the powers to win that championship.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Do you have anybody you want to thank, any sponsors?
I'd just like to give a shout out to my dad. Like I said, Wednesday night he had neck surgery, so just hope for a speedy recovery. Love you, Dad.
Alrighty, that was Briar LaPrade with third place. Now Corey Silva will take it off to Shane Tarrant.
All right, Shane, that was a tough one to swallow for you. I'm sure you led well over 100 laps, and it was a good old-fashioned short track battle with Chuck Sweeting there at the end. Talk about that battle and how it was undergoing it.
I don't know, I'm pretty disappointed. I don't know how many laps I actually led, but I know I led like probably 90% of this race. It just kind of sucks. I really wanted that win, but Chuck, he raced me clean. Yeah, I'll give it to him. I mean, if it was anybody else that didn't turn into the corner and use me up, I probably would have wrecked him back. But I never had any issues with Chuck, so I just kind of tried to get him back cleanly. And yeah, I don't know what he was doing. Turn 3 was where he was gaining all his time, and I couldn't figure it out. So and I'm just pretty disappointed.
Yeah, we actually called it backwards from what we saw. He looked like, we thought you were getting better off 3 and 4. It looked like he was getting off turn number 2, but you did lead 157 laps tonight. Looks like he just had that long run speed. As you said, there was really nothing that you could figure out that would have preserved the tires a little bit better?
Well, I did a practice, and I had the best tire after like 40 lap runs in practice, but in the race I didn't compensate for the more rubber, so I don't know if it was because I was ruining my braking. I wasn't consistent with my braking, so I think that's what hurt me the most. So yeah, if I could just get a consistent line, I probably would have been fine.
Yeah, I know it's a tough pill to swallow. I've lost many races that same way, but you should, based on preliminary math, be in the championship 4. So what are your thoughts looking towards Homestead, hopefully going for a championship?
Well, Homestead's done me good last few times I've been there. I mean, last time I was racing for a championship in this league, coming to 8 to go and my power turned off. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time, because there's been 2 straight seasons in a row a championship has come out of my hands in my last race in this league. So I feel pretty good if my internet can hold up next week.
Yeah, so we'll wish you the best of luck in the real world, hoping that the outside circumstances don't take it back from you. But I know you don't want to finish second, but you finished second tonight. Who do you want to give a shout out to, man?
I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. I was actually listening to you guys because it was having me keep tabs on Chuck, and then Cody for the league, of course my teammates, Josh and Nick. Jake didn't race tonight, neither did Walker, and just a good race overall with Chuck, so I'm glad he raced me clean. Just a little mess up in turn 3, but it'll do.
All right, man. So that's Shane Tarrant finishing second here tonight, and Evan Black will speak to the winner of tonight's race, Chuck Sweeting in the 26.
Chuck Sweeting, you come home with the victory here tonight at the Richmond Raceway. What are your thoughts after this race?
That was a long, tough race. A lot of green flag laps there, but I'm happy to get the win.
Yeah, we saw you come from about 4 seconds back there in that final run after green flag pit stops. Kind of walk us through catching and passing Shane Tarrant, what it was like from your point of view.
Well, first off, I gotta stop screwing up on pit road. I did 42 and a 40 and got busted, but had to go to the back. So it was, trying to run hard and catch the front, but not run too hard and destroy the tires, and somehow I managed to do it and got by him, got the win. And I appreciate him being understanding. I did not mean for us to touch going into 3 there. I think I have a little bit later entry in that corner, or maybe I just misjudged it. But last thing I want to do is get in the middle of somebody's chase race. But it was fun overall. I enjoyed it. Loved the track. So.
Yeah, we saw you being a lot faster than everyone else, especially on the long runs. How was your car handling out there?
It was handling pretty good. For me, I gotta stay right on that line as much as I can. I tried running up, half a lane off the bottom and even a lane up off the bottom, and it wouldn't work for me. I could see it working for some of the other guys, but it just wouldn't work for me. But if I could keep the left side tires right up next to that yellow line, it would rotate really well, and I could get off the corner and get the throttle down a little bit better than some of the other guys, at least when I hit it right.
All right, well, you started up front, went to the back, and then back up to the front. Is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Randall Fox Racing, everybody there, and for hanging with me, and I Take Computers, and for all their help they do for the team, and Chevy Performance, Coastal Mobile Marine, all the sponsors that help out with the team, and of course Cody for putting on such a great league, and PTR TV for doing such an awesome job broadcasting.
Yeah, thanks for those kind words. And once again, congrats on your victory here tonight, and thank you for talking with us.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
And now I did get confirmation on who the final 4 is. It will be Cole Begunia, Briar Pratt, Nick Massey, and Shane Tarrant will be the 4 drivers going for a championship next week in Homestead.
All right, so you'll want to stay tuned for that on PTR TV and iRacing Live for the championship decider for the Fast Track Sims Cup Series, but we will wrap up tonight's coverage with the final rundown. Chuck Sweeting with the victory tonight with that amazing battle with Shane Tarrant, who finished second, Briar LaPrade third, Josh Adams fourth, Nick Massey in fifth, rounding out the top 10, Cole Begunia, Thomas Bresci, Tyler Hensley, Casey Shue, and Robert Kenny.
Kyle Zimmer finishing in the 11th position, Simon Thorns in 12th, Christopher Matthews in 13th, Glenn Bowen in 14th, and Cody Tabor rounding out the field in the 15th position.
And our sponsor shoutouts, couldn't do it without them helping us out. Air Movement Fabrications, Nottingham's choice for custom signs, designs, repairs, and all things metal. Visit them online at airmovefabs.co.uk or find them on Facebook. Official partner with PTR TV. Then Krutz Custom Graphics, Custom Racing Shirts, Hero Cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, we've got your back. Krutz Custom Graphics is the motorsports design specialist. Shout out to iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, custom coding Design and theme design for iRacing's two main overlay systems, ATVO and IRTVO. If you're a broadcast company looking for custom overlays to make your channel shine, talk to Jason Allison with iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. Shout out to iRacing the Simulator, iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations, obviously the source of the broadcast and what we use to bring these to you. So interested in those, if you're a newcomer to the sim racing game, check them out at iRacing.com, and there's always promo codes out there to help get you started. Camera shoutouts to TrackCams4Gourmets. Talk to Istvan at facebook.com/TrackCams or TrackCams22.com. You can enjoy the same views that we had tonight, and of course, if you don't mind, check out our Patreon. Go to patreon.com/PTRTV to help our broadcast quality stay high and the prices stay low. You can check out the donations there. You get more. If you donate more, you can get prizes and rewards along the way. So check that out at patreon.com/PTRTV. So that's another broadcast here on PTRTV. We brought you the Fast Track Sims Hardline Cup Series here on iRacing Live and PTRTV. Stay tuned for all of our other broadcasts during the week, and like and subscribe if you have not done so. Signing out of the booth is Corey Silva, Evan Black, and Cole Borgstedt tonight. Joe Chris behind the scenes. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a great night.
Catch you next time.